How's it going, everyone? Welcome to F11. This is the first episode, actually. Today I have a photographer from Paris, France, actually. His name's Toufik Mekbel. If I didn't butcher that, I'm sorry if I did. He's going to be on here in just a minute. His Instagram is two photos, so it's TOU and then photos. I chose to have him on the show just because I really like his work. I came across it a few weeks ago, and his work's super mundane, and he finds very small subjects and subject matter that just look beautiful. He uses light in crazy ways, actually. His photos just all around look super dreamy, and they almost look like graphic design based. That's something that I want to talk to him about just because of the shapes and lines and things. It looks very designed forward. So I want to talk to him about that. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Tufik's an amazing photographer. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put a couple photos right here that I like. And hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool, cool. All right. So do I pronounce your name Tufik?
Yeah, exactly.
All
That's
right.
correct.
Perfect.
Yes.
How's it going, Tufik? I'm Raphael.
Perfect. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Nice to meet you, Raphael.
Yeah, good to hear. Did you want to introduce yourself and give a little summary for everybody?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Toufik Mekbel. I'm a photographer based in Paris. So I live in France since like 10 years. I was born and I grew up in Algeria, in North Africa. Yep, I came to France when I finished my fine arts studies in Algeria. So I started working in the visual effects industry on movies and commercials, video games. Then, yep, and I started taking interest in photography in 2016, and here I am.
Oh, wow, that's actually super cool. I didn't know that you went to school. What was your experience like in school? Like, I was thinking about going to school for a little bit. I'm taking a class here at my local like community college for photography, but I was just thinking about going deeper into art school. What do you think? Like, how was your experience with that?
Going into like art schools helps for the background, for the references, for the um, how to say it in English. It helps a lot
Yeah,
for
for sure.
for the background and stuff, And but technically, actually, I didn't learn photography in school at school. So my studies were in like graphic design. The school was like university after the high school in Algeria. So yeah, it's the yeah. So the studies were in graphic design.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
So I was looking at your work and it almost looks kind of design based, like with the shapes and colors and things like that. Do you think that graphic design kind of plays a role in your work at all in
Definitely,
photography?
yes, definitely. I play a lot with the with color contrasts and silhouettes, the shadows and lights. Since because I've been working on like CGI computer generated images for like 10 years. So we used to make images like from nothing, like using like computer generated lights and shapes. So that helps a lot. Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. So I actually enrolled in like a summer class for graphic design, just because I've been playing around a little bit. I don't know much, but I want to go further into it. It seems pretty cool. It's pretty fun to me so far.
That's
Um,
cool. So you see, are you in school now, right now?
yeah, well, the all the colleges here went to online, so we're just finishing out the semester online.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. With the photography class I'm taking, I'm just in like the intro class, and it's pretty it's pretty technical based. So that's just why I was kind of thinking more about if I should go to school or not for it.
Yes,
Just
it's the
because
same.
I'm not sure. Like I'm really into subject matter. Like the what you pick, the things that you choose to photograph are super simple. They're they're very everyday occurrences and like everyday things that you see, but the way that you photograph them makes them almost look like dreamy.
I like the simple things. I like the simple things and like the improvised photo shootings. I just go out for a walk, for a long walk, and trust my eyes. Actually, when I see something, I take the picture and I kind of know how it will be, how it will looks like after the editing. So yeah, yeah. So I like to keep it minimalistic and simple and dreamy. Yeah, I like the dreamy vibes and the cinematic because most of my like my influence and inspiration comes from cinema and cinematography.
Myself as well. I like to go on walks and just kind of take photos as I go. It's a good way for me to clear my mind. I like to do it at night a lot. Actually, something that I've been exploring a little bit more recently. I see that you do some work at night. What's your
Yeah,
experience like that with that?
actually, when I started doing photography, I was you can notice it from my Instagram. All the photographs are were were took taken at night. Uh, so yeah, yeah, I was then when after the lockdown, with the quarantine, I'm forced to stay home and just go out. We're here in Paris. We are allowed to go out after 7. So it's the time of the golden hour time. So I go out and I found out that I love this lighting actually. The daylight. So you can
Yeah.
see it from my latest pictures.
Mm-hmm. That photo in the stairwell, I'm not sure. So there's this photo that I was looking at on your Instagram. It's a stairwell and you're at the bottom of the stairs and there's like this beautiful light coming in from the side and it's going onto the wall right there. When I look at that photo, it's so simple, but it's almost like a painting. Just because if you look at some paintings from modern times and even super long ago, they choose super simple subjects like that, like just a stairwell that has nice light. And I really appreciated that photo. What was the location, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, it's my building. Just when I go out from my apartment, then I see these stairs. Yeah. So I was going out for a walk, and then I see this light coming from the window, and I really loved it because it's diffused in the wall and the materials gives this result, like a dreamy result. And with the editing, I like to lower the contrast in the editing, so that my shadow in the shadows in my work is really low, so you don't have like dark shadows,
Oh, okay,
and that
yeah.
adds to give the dreamy, look.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. That's one of my favorite parts about your work personally. Have you completed or are you working on any projects at the moment? Like have you put out any work like a zine or a book or any art at a gallery, or are you working on anything like that?
Not yet. Actually, I'm aiming to do it. Like I'm putting my work on Instagram and hoping to get some good feedback or like suggestions to work or collaborate with. I had the chance to be part of an exhibition in Berlin the last year, and that was the only event I took part of. Um, but yeah, mainly I'm doing photography just for fun for the moment and waiting for, I'm still learning. But my main job actually is visual effects artist. I'm working on like movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm aiming to switch to the art direction or photography, cinematography in the future. So I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's super cool. So I'm actually working on like putting together a small zine myself. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it, but there's this beach where I live called Crystal Cove. If you look it up, it's a super historical beach town in Newport Beach, California.
Yeah.
And I used to live up in LA as a kid, and I would come down in the summer once a week and stay there. And I actually ended up moving about 20 minutes down the street and I totally forgot about the beach as a whole. And one day I went back there a little bit after I started taking photos again, probably a couple years ago, 2 years ago, and I just started taking photos just because it kind of reminded me of my childhood. And I after that day, I kind of just started going back, like it just pulled me in that area.
Yeah,
It's just super beautiful, and I wanted to put together a little zine. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it, but I wanted to put together a little zine because it's a cool concept to me, like
yeah, it's
exploring like my like childhood and stuff. But
child.
I'll totally share some photos from that with you after we talk.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It sounds like a great idea actually, because myself, I went back to Algeria for, like in January. So I grew up there, like in the 90s. It was during the Civil War, and I was living in a military neighborhood, like Soviet architecture,
Okay.
and it reminds me. I don't know if you have seen you watched the Chernobyl HBO show series, the
Oh yeah, yeah,
Chernobyl.
yeah, yeah. I think I've seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It remind actually the Ukraine reminds me of my the city I grew up in. It
Okay.
was Soviet and cold and I hate. It was boring at the time, but when I go back, when I came, I went back there in January. I really loved it because it's a nice subject, like for photography. I took a few pictures from there, and it was foggy and creepy, dreamy, creepy. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. So it could be a nice nice. I would say it theme in French. Nice subject, like for like to make like a collection.
Another photo that I really, really liked on your Instagram was you have this photo. It's a door, and there's plants on the right hand side of the frame, and then on the
Oh,
left hand side there's the windows.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's
is that photo film, or was that one
this
digital?
digital. Actually, I do. I work mainly on digital. I use a Micro Four Thirds camera.
Okay, yeah. So how'd you get that the look
Result.
to that one?
Actually, the place itself, this place is just amazing. I talked to all my friends about it because when I got there, I don't need to edit the picture because the light was just amazing, and it feels like a dream. Actually, it feels like if we open the door, we go somewhere like on top of the clouds or something,
Yeah, yeah.
going to heaven.
That's the feeling I got for real.
And it reminds me of the Shining.
Mm-hmm.
The the um, the bike shot from The Shining. So yeah, this place when in the golden hour is just amazing because the sunlight comes from the windows, and I think the window does something to the light, so it's diffused like just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one
So
that one reminded me almost. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Have you seen The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
no.
It's well, it's just like a little movie. It just reminds me of that because in the back of the wardrobe there's a door, and if you go through it, it's like a whole nother like magic land. So that's the kind of the feeling that photo gave me. I was like
Oh,
thinking about
oh,
what's behind the drawer.
is it a movie?
Yeah, yeah. I think it was a book first, and then it was a movie. I saw it a long time ago.
You can send me the title, please. You just
Okay, yeah, I'll send it right after.
check it. Thank you.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So where do you find your inspiration? Like, is there anything that inspires you, like that you look for when you're out taking photos per se? Like, or is there anything that just inspired you as a whole to take photos in general, or anything like that?
Actually, depends on, but the main inspiration comes from paintings, fine art and cinema, comic books. But when I go out for like a night walk, I just put music, like the synthwave music, the retro 80s music, and and I feel like in another world. Actually, I just walk, and once I see like something that, and I don't know how to explain it. Like in my eyes, it's framed like in the finished, like a finished picture. So I take the picture, and when I come back home, I'm not disappointed. Actually, it's like fishing. Actually, I go for fishing, and
Yeah.
but yeah, the inspiration comes from mainly from movies, because honestly, I don't know like popular photographers' names, but I know like cinematographers.
Mm-hmm.
I like Roger Dickens. Or I really love their work.
Yeah, I really see the movie influence in your work. I really like it. So, another thing I see, you choose these subjects that are they're almost like subjects within a subject. Like the photo that you posted yesterday, I think it was with the blues and the greens.
Yeah, the colors,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
the
I really
green.
like how you can almost see the photo within something so small. It's really cool. It's something pretty unique about your work, I think.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. I like to play with colors too. When I see like when I see like two objects with like the perfect colors, like blue and yellow or green and red, I just see I immediately see the beauty in the frame actually, and I try just to frame it correctly and keep it minimalistic and let it breathe actually, and take
Mm,
like keep the space and just isolate the subject and put the subject alone in the picture, to you know to let the eye, because I think when we see like an image, and uh, the subject is separated, like just alone, like a silhouette, or um, how do I say it? I'll say it in English. Uh, do you
go with
understand
it.
me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I get what you're
just
saying.
minimalistic actually. I,
Hmm.
I try to I try I try to keep the subject alone in the frame with the space.
Yeah, it's super refreshing almost. It's when you look at the photo, there's not too much going on, and you can kind of just focus on the nice light and the nice colors that you have in there. So back on the night photography topic. So have you ever had any like weird occurrences while taking photos at night? Like myself, like I love to take photos at night. I love it just because sometimes when someone asks you what you're doing, it's almost like it could spark a conversation, and it's almost like a different form of photography, because if you're taking photos during the day, you don't get stopped too much.
Yeah,
At night, has anyone ever came up to you and asked you anything? Like I have a few stories about night,
yeah.
but has that ever happened to
It
you?
it happened to me. It happened to me once actually. I was taking a picture of people, or of a bar actually. I was outside and there are like people in the bar. I
Mm,
was taking a picture of these people from behind because the light was interesting. And there is a guy that who saw me, and he just came out and he said, "What are you doing? Who are you?" He work for he work for the police, and we just had the talk, and it went well actually. No problems. But yeah,
that's good.
uh,
That's good.
I never had like issues with yeah, but I try to be sneaky. Try to be sneaky, take pictures of like people from the back, just keep them anonymous. Yeah, just the silhouette or
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, uh, the other night actually, I was down here, kind of. It was in the super industrial area where there's a bunch of warehouses and stuff, and I was taking photos of this car because it was parked right under this street light, and it was super dark everywhere else besides under this one street light. So it put this light on this car that kind of made the car look like special, just
Yeah,
because everything else was like pitch black. And I was taking this photo of the car, and this guy came out, and I didn't know he actually he lived in one of the warehouses, and he had thought that I was trying to steal his car.
Oh.
Um, so he got really upset, and understandably, um, but yeah, it was a funny story. Him and we began to talk, and I showed him some of my photos, and he told me that he used to be a photographer himself, and
Oh.
it turned out well. But it's a cool story because when he first came out, I was like, oh no, like I'm in trouble here, you know?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, it's a
That
cool.
that's funny. That's funny. I had one story with the old man. I just saw a Lada, an old Russian car,
Mm,
a rusty car in the yard of the house. So I tried to take pictures, but there were some stuff like chairs and stuff around the car, so I couldn't take like a clear picture of the car. So this old man just came from his home, and he told me, what are you doing? So I thought he would be like annoyed by me like taking picture of his car. I said, he told me, do you want to take off like all the objects so you can take a good picture of the car? I
oh,
said, yeah, definitely, please. And we had like 30 minutes talk with him and his son. And he
yeah.
was a military. He was like, because the French people were in Algeria. Algeria was colonized by France like for a century and 30 years.
Mm,
And yeah, he was a soldier back then in Algeria, so he
okay.
know like the cities. And then we had to talk about this, and it was funny.
Yeah, that is funny. It's always cool when stuff like that happens. When it connects you with people, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Another photo that I wanted to talk about. It was actually a night photo this time, so that's why I got into the whole night idea. There's this photo that I'm thinking of. It's a street light almost at night. It's just the street light. Everything else is like pitch black, and it's giving off this like almost cone of light. It's a photo. It has the fence and then
Oh, this one, yes. It's a stadium.
a stadium. Oh, okay.
A
Yeah, I
stadium.
was I was wondering what that was because I was like, wow, it's like I've always wanted to take a photo at night with not a street light, but almost like a lantern kind of on
Yeah.
like a pole. And then I wanted
Yeah.
like the silhouette of a person facing the other way, kind of underneath the pole. That's just something that I've like thought of a lot. And then I saw this photo when I was scrolling through your Instagram, and it's a similar topic, but it's not the same. But
Hmm.
I really enjoyed this photo, just the simplicity and
Thank
yeah,
you.
I just wanted to ask about like the location because I was like, wow, like where'd you find a
Yeah.
light shining when then there's no lights behind it at all? You know what I mean? Like at night you can see the flickering of like people if they have like their lights on in their house or something like that.
Yeah. It gives like the fog and the mist gives the dreamy. It gives turns I'd say uh, gives like a dreamy mood. And it helps the light actually. If there is like a light, it turns the light into interesting um, things actually.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I was just walking and a foggy night, cold night. Then I walked around the stadium, and I took a couple of pictures, and it was interesting because with the fog, you can see the volume lights.
Hmm.
It was I gave this. So yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
I'm glad that you liked it.
yeah. Did you like do you like that photo yourself or is that not one of your favorites
Yeah, I
or
like it. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. But one of my favorites of like silhouettes, this kind of photos, I'm gonna send it to you.
okay.
It's like a guy walking behind a car. Let me send it to you. So yeah, this one. Yeah, just DM to you.
Okay, I see. Oh, whoa, yeah, I didn't even see this one. This one has a lot of story behind it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, wow, I love this photo right here.
I didn't plan actually. It wasn't planned actually. I was taking picture of the car of this BMW, and just this guy came from behind the car, and I took the picture. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's great. I look at that photo. That one's super. It looks like it's straight out of a movie. It looks like a
That's the
screen
whole
grab.
point. That's the whole point. Actually, when my picture looks like a screenshot from a movie, I'm just happy.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something I shoot for myself. I'm still working on it because I don't have any sort of film background or anything like that. So I'm still kind of working on adding story and
Hmm.
adding more of a viewer take on it. I want my photos to let the viewer kind of create the story in them.
Hmm.
And that photo right there, I think that accomplishes that perfectly because if I look at that, I can see it in like several different ways. It could be someone walking home, just regular, or it could have some sort of crazy story behind it at the same time, with the hood on, all that. So that photo, I really appreciate that photo a lot.
Yeah, I like actually when I started doing photography, and I was watching like a lot of people's work. I'm still exploring people's work, and I like when a picture tells uh, a story, or even an empty frame, like when you see just an object and you wonder what behind this, what happened. Like maybe this guy just came from a home. He did something, and he came from a place, or he's going somewhere, or who's this guy? So
Hmm.
mysterious. Like it pushes you to want to ask questions.
Yeah,
So yeah.
for sure. So where do you want your work to go in the future? Like for myself, I want to add a little bit more story. I want to make my photos seem a little bit more like surreal. Kind of like yeah, like yours, how you have that dreamy kind of
Yeah.
feel to your photos. I kind of want to incorporate a little bit more of that myself. I want to, yeah, just make add story and add more of a dreamy kind of feel to my photos personally. So where do you see your work going over in the next periods?
Actually, it depends. It depends I don't know. I don't have like I don't have like let's say um, when I started doing photography, it was mainly night photos.
Hmm.
So I didn't know that one day I will like put like a collection of sunlight pictures, and now I'm loving it. Actually, I'm loving to take pictures in golden hour. And, and but but my project actually is to shoot and try some videos, like shoot kind of music video,
Oh, okay, yeah. That's
or
super cool.
yeah. So I'm trying
Uh,
to explore this field. I'm watching a lot of work of cinematographers, or directors, kind of like advertisements,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know,
Did you want to like make movies, like your own movies, or
yeah, just
sorry, my dog's barking.
just a short movie, keeping the style of my photography, and doing a short movie, just you know, 1 minute or
Oh
less.
yeah, you should totally
Short
do
movie.
that. That'd be super, super
Yeah,
cool.
even if
Uh,
it's silent, just like showing locations, and like an intro of a feature film, or you know
mhm,
just
mhm.
giving this. So yeah.
Yeah, that's something I would want to do. I just have a hard time putting together uh stories, not as in my photographs, more
Yeah.
with dialogue. Um, that's where I get tripped up, is with dialogue.
Mhm.
But that's such a great field, and there's so much work that could be done in that field, and the art that comes from there is it's amazing, because you don't, like, when a movie is a good movie and it's successful, you don't, the goal isn't to have the viewer appreciate the
The-
cinematography too much. You know that you see the movie, and you're engulfed into the story per se. You know what I
exactly.
mean? You're completely in you're in the moment almost. And I think that the way that they capture that is super cool, because it's a great concept to me, thinking that the art is so good that you're not even thinking about the art itself. It
Exactly.
puts you in a whole nother headspace.
Hmm.
um
Exactly. Actually, I just found out that all the movies that I liked were had had the best cinematography. I didn't know actually. I just feel like this. I like this movie when I was young. Uh, I liked a lot of movies. So, and now I just found out that all these movies they have like the best cinematography, like nice, great cinematography, and
mhm.
it helps a lot. I think cinematography is 70% of a movie success.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the main thing actually, the image.
Was there any photos that you wanted to specifically talk about that you've taken at all?
Actually, I like the one of the just like 2 days ago, a friend of mine asked me if you have to choose like one of your photographs and like the best for me. Yeah, for like the best photograph I took for. Oh, I'm lost in my English. Uh, yeah, my friend asked me if I had to choose one of my pictures and to show it. So it was a hard choice. It was a hard choice, but I think one of them. I like all of them actually, but one of them that I'm really proud of is yeah, I'll send it to you. It's the a phone, the old phone on in the bed with the blue lights. Yeah.
Did you use the TV to light that one? That one.
Yeah, just it was lightened by the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like all these. You can feel the inspiration from movies, American movies like the motel,
Yeah, yeah.
the countryside.
The bed, or the phone not put back on the thing.
The TV, yeah, the gas station. I
Yeah, yeah,
like all
yeah.
these kind of sets.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel like a story from this, or someone had been killed or just left the room, emergency, or
Yeah, this one, yeah, it has a lot of stories that could be told from it.
something's happening in the picture.
Yeah, something urgent happened where someone had to
Yeah,
get up and not put the phone.
yeah.
Um, yeah, the light in this one, I really like that blue light, because it shines almost different shades on the different textures and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's a great photograph.
Thank you.
Well, we're coming up on 40 minutes here, so I'm thinking about wrapping it up pretty soon. Is there anywhere else that people can find you, or
Um,
two
yeah, man.
photos?
Yeah, my Instagram is like at two photos, TOU photos, and I have my Flickr account. It's not updated, and yeah, mainly on Instagram.
All right, cool. Well, thanks so
Facebook.
much.
Yeah, thank you, Raphael. It
Yeah, I appreciate
was a
talking to
pleasure.
you. Yeah, that was a great conversation. Thank you too. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning into the first episode of F11. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please share it with a friend. That would really help us out since we're just starting, and leave a review. If you want updates, check us out on Instagram at F11_podcast. That's all I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed.